Is Zoro stronger than Law? In the One Piece story, there are two epic swordsmen that are deeply connected to Monkey D. Luffy. We have the right-hand man to the Straw Hat Pirates, kind of like the vice captain, so to say, even though it's not confirmed, Roronoa Zoro versus Trafalgar Law, or Wattel D Law, one of the D clan, and an ally to Luffy to take down Kaido. These two swordsmen have been debated forever. Who is stronger? Now, I usually don't bring up parallels in the One Piece story. I'm not the biggest fan of parallels, but I want to bring this up just for discussion's sake. We know that people have paralleled Law to characters like Whitebeard, and I see some people say Shiki, but Whitebeard, Shiki, those guys were like the kind of like equal, not equal, but they were like on Goldie Rogers fighting terms back in the day. And then when it comes to Roronoa Zoro, the person that I seen that people paralleled was Rayleigh, of course, on the Pirate King's crew. And it's kind of crazy because Rayleigh also has a scar on his eye. There's some similarities there. The difference is Rayleigh kind of is more smarter than Zoro, but recently Zoro has been doing a lot of smart things, so he's developing, so crazy stuff's happening. Now, when we discuss pre-time skip, which I love discussing pre-time skip, people say it's ignorant, there's no point, but it's just for discussion's sake. I have to say that Zoro will get destroyed by Trafalgar Law, and the reason why I say this is because I personally believe that Law is the strongest supernova pre-time skip. Did you see his ability? Like, the only way I could see people using that ability, getting away with it, is if you're a Logia, or you need Haki. Yeah, you need Haki for Law's ability, or he's cutting you up. So it just shows you that I think that pre-time skip Law was a dangerous person for a lot of characters in the story of One Piece. Though if you do have speed and you can move around his room, there might be a case there, but I'm just saying Law is a savage when it comes to pre-time skip, because Haki was a big thing when countering Law's Dealt Fruit. Now, when it comes to Law post-time skip, he has had a lot of badass moments, badass fights, Punk Hazard being his most badass arc for him personally. But when it came to Dressrosa, people hated on Law, and I saw it. And the reason why they hated on him, because they really did not care if he was going against Fujitora and Doflamingo, or Doflamingo and Treble. They were pissed off that Law was injured and getting pretty much wrecked in the Dressrosa arc most of the time. And I don't think that you should think low of someone if they're getting wrecked. People in the One Piece fan base usually say if you lose, you're trash. If you win, you're a monster. Like, they don't care what's the situation. So I always look at situations, and I could see that Law was definitely had a lot to chew in Dressrosa. Zoro also had a lot of badass moments post time skip, and he's pretty much been cruising in the New World. Like, you can't say that Zoro has even tried. The most he tried against was Pika, and Pika, that was not even him like going, like, it was like maybe 30-40%. Like, he was just trying to find him, and then he wrecked him with full body Artemis Haki versus Zoro's Haki. And Zoro pretty much said something there that I've been trying to tell people. The New World's all about, it's not all about, but one of the biggest things in the New World is Haki, Artemis Haki. If your Artemis Haki is stronger, you have a good case. This leads me to the Virgo situation, which I really despise when arguing against people. People always tell me that Virgo's Artemis Haki was stronger than Law, but they forget to remember that Doflamingo had a whole speech, not a whole speech, but he was telling Law, Virgo's Haki is stronger than yours, so he's gonna get by your chopping ability. Thus, Doflamingo is then made to look like a fool because Law cuts through Virgo multiple times, cuts through his Haki, and it's the New World. You have to have a stronger Haki. Like, remember when Akainu and Marineford, Marco and Virgo attacked him, but they couldn't go through it because Akainu had a stronger Haki than Marco and not Virgo, Marco and Vista. So it's all about Haki and Dealt Fruit, and you gotta look at both of these situations. People that just think that Law's Dealt Fruit is what he's cutting people with. Law has a great armament Haki. Don't try to forget about that. But I have to talk about Roronoa Zoro. It was stated in the SBS that Oda said that his specialty is armament Haki. Luffy's was Conqueror's Haki, and Sanji's was Observation Haki. But you look at Zoro, people kind of said that since his specialty was armament Haki, he is the strongest armament Haki on these Straw Hat Pirates. Now, me personally, I disagree. I just think that what it means specialty means he's the best at that category, just like Sanji was the best at that category for himself with Observation Haki. But when comparing to other characters, like, I feel like you kind of say since his specialty is strong in armament Haki, he has a stronger armament Haki than Luffy. It's you see what I'm saying? But the fact that his specialty is armament Haki, we cannot forget about that. And when I talk about Law, to get by Law's Dealt Fruit ability, hockey is a big thing, and Zoro's specialty is arm and hockey, so it's a great matchup. But we're not going to talk about hockey here the whole time, because Law's Delphi will come into play if there is a battle, and we've seen multiple occasions. I remember one time in Dressrosa, he switched his body with someone else. Like, he is a tricky fighter. Yes, Law is a tricky fighter. Gamma Knife is a devastating move. It cuts your insides. Like, there's a few people in the One Piece story who can get away with that. Doflamingo was one of them, but yeah, his Gamma Knife is crazy. He's cutting mountains with his chopping ability. His DC is out of the world, so it's going to be a crazy battle, and it's going to be devastating if Zoro and Law go at it. Now, I do think that Zoro is a way better swordsman than Law. Law combines his swordsmanship with his Delphi, which makes him devastating. But Zoro is just a pure swordsman, which makes it very incredible. But I'm not going to take away anything from Law because he's Delphi. Like, you can, that's his ability. He's trained with that ability. Like, just like Luffy trained with his Gomu Gomu no ability, Sanji trained with his foot ability, Zoro trained with his swordsmanship ability. You have to train with what you have, you know. So Zoro is a better swordsman, and I feel like he hasn't even gone all out once, and it's something that we need to see to get a better gauge on his strength, his power level. So it's really tough. He hasn't even gone all out. People have been talking about Ashura. He hasn't used his best move. Many crazy stuff. Now, Law, one of Law's biggest weaknesses is stamina. We've seen in Dressrosa when it comes to stamina, he's trying to save his stamina, but his rune, when he puts it up, it's devastating. But still, that's a big thing we cannot forget. And Zoro is amazing when it comes to stamina. We've seen the pre-time skip, all those crazy moments, endurance moments. So Zoro can fight for a long time, yo. He can go at it. So Law's weakness, Zoro is a good stamina guy, but then Law is very tricky, and Law is way smarter than Zoro. We cannot ignore this. Law is way smarter than Zoro. Zoro a better swordsman. Law combining his Delphi ability is going to be tricky, and we haven't seen Zoro go on all out. I have to say, my gut is telling me that Law would be stronger than Zoro. Don't cut my head off, but I believe that Law is stronger than Zoro. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the One Piece fan base, which I see in the comment section, my opinion is probably in the minority. Everybody thinks Zoro is stronger than Law, and I don't really mind if you think that and put in the comment section, because this is all about discussing and giving our opinions. But I want to say this: the reason why I can't see Zoro stronger than Law, like, because people think that the worst generation strongest are Blackbeard, Luffy, Zoro. If Luffy's right hand man is stronger than pretty much every single worst generation other than Blackbeard and Luffy, the worst generation to me are nothing to me. Like, what? Like, you guys, like, at the end of the story, I don't mind Zoro being like up there when it comes to worst generation, because he's gonna be the greatest swordsman. But right now, I feel like it's good if we have a mixture of people that are there above Zoro. These captains in the worst generation, I gotta give them some respect. Some people don't like this. They want Luffy and Zoro to be killing everybody in the New World, and Sanji to be trash, because it's the whole thing about the fan base. But I have to look at this when my mind, what I see, my gut, and we have to see Zoro go all out. When Zoro goes all out, I might look completely dumb after this video, but right now I have to say that I have to go with Law. And I want to see in the comment section what you guys think about Zoro versus Law, and put your opinions down there, because let's be honest here, we're just discussing something here. This is One Piece. This is a great series, and we don't have to kill each other, but we have to see other people's point of view and their how they see things in the story. So Zoro versus Law, is Zoro stronger than Law? Put it in the comment section. Do you disagree with me? Do you want to dislike the video? Do you want to unsub? Be my guest, yo, because this is, I told you, we putting our opinions out there. Like and share if you enjoyed, dislike and don't share the video if you didn't enjoy, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.